Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka.
It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Baka. We are an anime podcast where every 2 weeks we come together to discuss an anime that we've recently watched and then turn the discussion over to you once we're done. We don't have much to say that's very intelligent, but we try really, really hard. And that's all that matters in life.
Great.
You know, if you don't... Yeah, your determination and your emotions get you through anything. You probably know more about the host now, even if it's your first time clicking just from that statement. All right. We are discussing the first 12 episodes of Mashle, Magic and Muscles, or Muscles and Magic. I'm not double checking. And to do it, I need the help of my co-host. First off, we have the pull down to my triceps. It's Jeremy.
Pull down to the triceps?
Yeah, when you pull it down, like.
Oh, okay. Like you lean
Tricep
forward.
extension.
Like you lean forward, yeah, you lock your elbows and
Oh,
pull it
yeah.
down.
Yep.
With the rope, and then you spread the rope. What is that called? Probably a tricep pull.
We're getting way too technical. Let's get moving.
This is very valuable data. It's what the anime is all about.
Yeah. It's relevant.
We'll just start yelling out like muscle names, scientific muscle names.
Why not? How you doing, Jeremy? Do you have a hot take, cold take? I don't actually care today.
I don't have a hot take today.
All right. Jeremy's reviews. He likes technical accuracy. He likes well done world building, and he loves the ladies.
Heck yeah.
Does that work? I got
Yeah.
that right? All right. We also have the glutes to my squats. It's Jason.
Woo.
Coming in with my magical biceps.
Glute set.
My hot take is I don't like how popular anime's gotten. I liked it more when it was a niche.
That's interesting.
That's what?
I want to ask questions about that.
Nope, this is hot take.
Do you want to take that back?
What?
It's very
Okay.
hipster, man. Like, I love wearing flannel, but now everyone's wearing flannel, so I can't.
That's right. Okay. Can't do it. I specifically in the U.S. I don't care if it's popular elsewhere.
Is it because other people like it, or is it because the quality has changed, or the variety, or the uniqueness,
I
the risk factor?
think that's a whole topic.
I
that
want to
kinda
know
don't wanna
now.
get
I'm
into right
curious.
now, but I'll just say, I'm not sure it was better or worse beforehand. I just liked having something that not a lot of people do about.
Okay, so the shallower reason. Okay, I like that.
Interestingly and coincidentally, I saw a discussion on Twitter by Mother's Basement where he was talking with people about bad anime in the past and how because there was so much in America, you were so limited on what you could see, you just watched what you had. And so you got to see the more bad anime and kind of enjoyed it for being bad, where now there's so much that you like have to be super selective with your time and only watch the premier best thing each season. And like if it's bad, you know, no one gives it the time, even though they would have fun watching the bad stuff too.
Yeah.
That's sidely relevant, I guess.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I loved Iria, but I won't argue that it is not necessarily up to the standards of a lot of modern anime.
Right.
And I think Ghost Stories was vastly improved by its English
Yeah.
dub.
Yes. Even though we only got to watch a little bit of it here.
Now, let's not bring up our infamous Ghost Stories episode. They're gone. We got rid of them.
Yep.
Sorry.
Go leech off someone else. People did yell at us for just adding commentary when that's the only thing keeping us from getting copyright striked at all, and even that didn't work. Anyway,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Well, ancient history. My name's Troy. What muscle am I? I'm the heart. I'm the heart of the team. Oh. But my hot take, I actually did have one for this week. I didn't think I did. I'm a big cinema buff, and one thing I think that's missing in the anime world is movies. And I don't mean like a special 2-hour episode of Haikyuu, which I am excited to see, or a Dragon Ball Z Broly special. I'm talking original, awesome anime like
Boy and the
Ninja
Beast.
Skull, Akira, Redline, and there was Your Name and that guy, and then now he's in prison for things I don't want to talk about. So
Didn't hear about that.
yeah.
The
I
writer
didn't
of
want
all
you
name,
to.
like,
I honestly didn't
God.
want you to know.
Oh my God, that's funny because I hated that.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't want to give you that ammo. But
Ooh, yes.
even if in the movie section, it's a little bit too much drama. Like, let's do comedy movies, let's do horror, and let's do action again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's some classics in there, and they were doing some great stuff in the 80s, and they kind of tapered off and focused more on television. Now they just use the movies to promote the television series. I think we need more classic anime cinema.
My first desire for something like that would be, if you remember those Star Wars anime shorts, the black and white one with with that Ronin
lightsabers,
full movie of that, I would just ooze out of my chair to the theater for that.
Yeah, there were a couple of those that I would enjoy too.
As much as I love Star Wars, I'm asking for original ideas, though. I want Akira again.
Kind of original.
Yeah. All right.
I want Land of the Lustrous, the movie. Give me more rock people.
No, but
Did that ever get a second season?
Not yet.
Which is crazy because Orange has been so busy. But... All right. We are discussing Mashle. And before we get into our spoiler section, we're going to discuss what we thought about it without any spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you can decide if you want to watch it or not. And this was Jeremy's pick, so he gets to go first.
It's not what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a funnier parody. It's okay, but it's kind of mid, I'd say.
Really stepping out of your wheelhouse there.
I know, it's like way too many episodes in a row. But it has a few moments here and there where I did enjoy some of the writing, but for the most part, it felt very shallow. And the conversations between the characters. I get that they're supposed to be like, this is a parody, and a lot of the conversations and the things that are said are meant to be jokes, and they're meant to like play on the expectations you would have from watching other anime. But I just don't think the writing is good enough for that to land consistently. So I don't know. I think this is a pass.
All right, Jason, your thoughts.
I had a good time with it, but I wasn't pulled in. A lot of the scenes, I kind of felt like I was watching a discount One Punch Man.
Yeah.
It's got a interesting premise, and I wonder if this wasn't a comedy and the stakes were much higher and we lost characters, if this would immediately turn into a better anime.
That is what usually makes it better for us.
Well, not just for us, but like all around, because I think it had some potential in that particular storytelling, but because there wasn't any stakes, a lot of it fell flat, and the jokes didn't help it get across the finish line for me. So I didn't hate my time with it. It was fun, but yeah, I almost felt like I should go turn on One Punch Man.
Yeah. It made me miss One Punch Man.
I think the premise is very amusing. I think the main character is very funny. I'm going to go into more in the spoiler section. almost everything else falls flat. The Harry Potter parody it's doing just isn't parodying it at all, and it's not working. I don't think most of the characters were, and it is very shallow. It's not super well animated. It's not trying to tell a deep story. It doesn't want to. But then you're relying everything on that humor, and like for me, only one character's jokes were landing. So I chuckled a lot at the main character. He's the one I think is funny. And the rest of the time I was pretty bored. Even when it got into its big climax for these first 12 episodes, I was like, I'm not caring. I'm not caring at all. It's a predetermined outcome. This is a comedy. It doesn't matter. I already know the joke. The concept doesn't last all 12 episodes. I was really enjoying the first 2-3 episodes, and then it just wears off. So I also never making. Actually, we've decided as a group, which we've never done before, we're not going to go on to season 2. We know the OP is fire, and we have listened to it, and it is great, and we agree with you. But yeah, we're not going to watch the second half. Tell you what we're watching in a minute. But
I will say that OP song is still playing in my head as we're talking.
For season 2?
No, for season 1. Like it's just really.
Well, let's talk about season 1's OP and ED. We're talking about season 2, but you could just bring us on on track where we need to be. You're helping very much, Jason. We really appreciate you. Jason, what do you think of the OP and ED of the season?
I liked both of them better than the show. But seriously, the OP is great. It gets across the point of what the show is. I didn't see too many spoilers in it. And the song's fire. It reminded me of like the early 2000s, Blink 182 or something like that. It was just kind of that, punk rock track, and I really liked it. And then the ED was just, fun. I liked watching them be idiots.
Yeah, for me, the OP was just okay. The ED, it almost felt like it was a different anime. Just because there were so many shots of them like shopping and going to a cafe, and then
That's ED.
That's the didn't I say ED?
You probably did. I don't listen to you. I have a microphone. Why would I listen?
The ED, yes. And so I don't know. It felt kind of weird. It was cute, but neither one really hit me well with the music. It's just okay.
OP, I just thought was okay. Sorry, Jason. Actually, I have a follow-up question, Jason. You have traditionally been the guy who says, I don't really care about music. You're just not super into music. Can you name a Blink 182 song?
I can't. I love them, but I can't.
They recently came back. Guys, all my favorite bands from that time, all those punk rock bands, they're all like 40-year-old guys, and they're punk rocking again. And I'm like, yeah, I know you go to bed early, but it's cool anyway.
I know if I saw, like, especially their first album, the list of songs, I would be able to, like, basically rattle off lyrics from each one. But I'm having a hard time remembering because I haven't listened to them in a long time.
No,
I'm not cheating.
Jeremy. No cheating.
I'm helping.
All right.
I actually didn't like
that's
all the
okay.
stuff that
I'm not. That wasn't to make fun. I was just curious if. Okay, I was mocking you a little bit. All right, my thoughts.
I mean, I'm not sure that landed, but okay.
Landed in my heart.
That's all that matters because you are the heart. That's right. That's why you're the weakest.
I just want to say. I just want to say that I like the ED because it reminded me of Rosario Vampire, who also did a J-pop music video for one of their. I think they did an opening, but yeah, it works for me. Have your characters just do a J-pop video for no good reason. Sure, I'm good. Shoe cream funky love. I'm in. I'm dancing.
I did like the fact that they animated them dancing. I like it anytime an anime does that.
Yeah, it's like watching a music video that the anime's characters just happen to be in. It almost has nothing to do with the anime.
Yeah.
Works for me.
I think the gratuitous amount of "I love my sister" stuff was a little creepy in the ED, but is what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was until we got into the anime. So.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good. So before we go to spoiler section, our next anime is not the rest of this. It is going to be the first 12 episodes of Delicious in Dungeon. This has been on our list for a long time. I'm waiting for it to finish. It's finally here. Let's get some tantalizing Studio Trigger food shots. Woo! And really impressive fantasy world building, whatever.
Is it just the food that's delicious?
No, it's the whole dungeon.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Schnozberry doesn't sound like it would be very good.
Apparently they're delicious. I've never tried it.
And I think you'd
Didn't find
identify
a golden
with the elf.
ticket myself. Is this reference landing with anyone? Why the one who watches movies? Every kid watched Willy Wonka. Come on.
Oh, I hear Willy Wonka. I think gold ticket.
I said gold ticket.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
It's
listen
fine.
to you. I got a microphone.
Oh! That's called a callback, and that's a very good one.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Stop mumbling. Mumbler!
Yes.
Oh, that was the new one. Johnny Depp, that's right.
What? Why are you the way you are?
My brain just is.
No one references that one. Abomination.
Why not? Johnny Depp did a great job.
Did he?
I thought so.
Johnny Bravo did it better.
Johnny Bravo did a great Willy Wonka. I don't know what he's talking about. We're off track.
Yeah.
Spoiler! It's time for spoilers.
We do not want to talk about this, do we?
We don't.
We're just trying to pad it out because we know there won't be that much to talk about.
Spoilers for the first 12 episodes of Mashle, something magic, something muscles. Hashtag magic, hashtag muscles, hashtag muffin tops.
No.
Cream puffs.
There you go.
That works.
All right. The world
In a
of this
world.
setting. We're mostly going to be in Harry Potter. It's a magic academy, but you do need to understand that in this world that everyone is magical and are born with weird scars on their faces to show their magic. And if you have multiple scars, you have extra magic power, which is dumb.
I didn't mind that aspect actually from a world building character design feature.
There's literally a power meter in this anime, and I almost threw something.
I love that part.
I loved it. Yeah, that was great.
I didn't like the part that there seemed to be other ways that characters could be like, oh yeah, no, you didn't realize I had a cross on my forehead, or some other thing that just discounted
That's
the
so
power.
anime though.
Yeah, it is. It's fair.
I have a line, but I've shaved half my eyebrows, so that counts as a new line.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Our main character is born without magic, and that is a big no-no. Literally, you are an abomination. Are considered not. It's. I don't think it's confirmed, but it sounds like they just kill off.
Yeah, they just execute.
Execute. I mean,
This is one thing that kind of irritated me a little bit because early on they make it clear that they execute. At least that's what that guard tells us, and other people seem to make the same reference. But then later, one of the antagonist of the first season is like, I don't think we should just exile them. We should execute them. And I'm like, but you are. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I guess I took the impression that it was implied to be execution, but they weren't saying it out loud, so they're probably leaving it open for a second explanation.
In the sub, it was explicit.
Okay.
Like, you will be
Yeah.
executed.
In the first 2 episodes, they described that in detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
We meet our main character. He's eating cream puffs and bench pressing way too fast. That is not the way. That is not proper lifting technique. You got to go slow to build the muscles. You got to build that endurance. You can't. You're using centrifugal force and the laws of motion to do all the work. That's not real muscle building.
I think
Come
it would
on.
be a slightly different move for centrifugal force, but
Yeah, you're right. Shut up.
momentum.
I thought you weren't listening to me.
Oh, sorry. I tuned in.
Yeah, where's your microphone?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, momentum. Yeah, you're just using your momentum. You're not doing any weightlifting. Anyway, this is Mash. He is super strong. That's it. What do you guys think of Mash?
I thought he was, he had some decent lines. He's definitely a wannabe One Punch Man as far as like even personality wise. He's just got that like, I don't quite understand the situation because it's never bothered me in the past because I can just punch my way through it. I hated this guy as soon as he got stabbed through the gut and he just walks away with no injury. It just kind of broke everything for me as far as taking any, like, I know it's not a serious anime, but like, I can't even go along with the suspension of disbelief for the jokes if he gets stabbed through the gut. And I actually liked the joke of I tensed my muscles around the blade in my stomach to hold it in place. But when that blade came out, I don't care how strong you are, you're bleeding out without medical attention. Like it's over.
But he did get medical attention.
The handkerchief?
I mean,
he didn't use it.
technically, yes, he did.
I don't think
We
he
didn't
did
see
because
him
there
use
was no blood or anything on it when he gave it to Abyss.
Yeah, that was the other thing. He got thousands of cuts, and none of them cut his shirt.
Well, okay. After we decided not to watch it, I went and I looked at like the wiki a little bit.
Wait, don't spoil it for people who you can spoil some.
No,
future,
no,
though.
this isn't really a spoiler. It's just the level of his control of his muscles actually is kind of an excuse for why they do that. I also hate it, but everything about him is unbelievable.
His muscles don't keep his shirt together.
Oh no, well yeah, you're right. The shirt should have been cut, but I don't know. His muscles are pretty crazy.
And
there's this thing he does where he's able to like teleport out of his clothes, and his clothes don't realize he's left them because he's so fast. So it's cool.
Well, I mean, he kicks his legs fast enough to fly, right? Like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But like you can't muscle your way out of skin lacerations. The skin is a different organ than the rest of your body. Anyways.
I mean, we're gonna get comments that are like, you're taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
Which is not what the problem with this anime is.
No, absolutely, but
It's
like it's a symptom of what the writers are doing with this is that they don't care enough to stick to their own rules to make jokes off of. So I don't know. It lost me there, but
yeah, for me, I'm in the same boat because even if I do try to like excuse it or come up with some technical explanation for it, at this point, his muscles are magic. Like it's indistinguishable from magic. What he does is so far beyond what is possible for just a normal person without magic that there is something going on with him. And this I did not get from the wiki. I don't know what's going on with him besides what we get from the last like episode of the season, indicating that there is something at least. But up until that point, I was watching it and everything was saying that this guy's just a regular person. He's got no magic. He's just really, really strong and really toned, and he's not a fighter, so he's not experienced in combat. He's just that powerful. And it's just unbelievable.
But that specific fight I'm talking about, he moves around like Goku.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his move sets are very similar to Goku's, where, punch someone through the air, run past them, and then like punch them before they hit the ground. Like,
yeah. And that's the thing. He's got no combat training. Everything for him is just weightlifting, gymnastics kind of thing. And yet he's leaping around as if he's a martial arts expert. And it's jarring. It doesn't work.
it instantly reminded me of that. I haven't seen it, but Troy described that anime where the fighters are like their power levels based off how big they can get their muscles.
Yeah,
that's real life.
No, what is that? I actually just did a crossover with another anime that was just like it, where the two main characters met. But yeah, just giant muscle guys. Like literally, like I flex my chin and break your hand because it touched in my chin.
Right. Basically magic.
Is that one about it's the son of like a really
Yeah.
powerful wrestler fighter? Yeah, and they've got a really distinct art style.
Yeah, and like the muscles are drawn in explicit, gratuitous manner in every scene. Everyone's wearing speedos and then punching each other, and it's super violent.
Yeah.
Get your testosterone going. I can't
Troy,
remember
what'd you
for
think
life.
of the main character?
Hey, first off, I want to say that while I think your guys' complaints are weird for this anime because of how silly it is, I was hoping that the concept was more that he's just a stronger than average human, but because everyone else is using magic, they're just insanely weak and they have no idea of like how.
That's what I was hoping to.
Like, oh my god, he can bench press like 120 pounds. That's insane. I can't even lift that with my magic. And like, wow, you guys humans got so weak in a world of only magic, because that would have been really funny. Instead of the One Punch Man, I'm as strong as I need to be for anything to make the joke work.
Well, and it's like they're building up to that because we see a lot of the ways that they use magic, and it's for mundane things. Where he walks around, he's like, "Wow, you're using magic for that? You could just do that with your hands. Why are you using magic to pour water from a pitcher?"
Exactly, like first scene of the anime.
Yeah,
that when I went into this, that's what I was hoping it was, instead of I can fly because I can kick my legs so hard.
Yeah.
However, I think the character Mash is the only thing that works in this anime for me. You guys remember the children's book Amelia Bedelia?
No.
Thank God.
You uncultured swine.
Seriously. All right. So it was like your early reading books, right? Like one sentence a page, just help you sight words and stuff. But it was about a maid who was terrible at everything because she took everything super literal. They'd be like, "Hey, we need you to, the sun's come out on the furniture, please draw the drapes." And so she would get out a sketch pad and draw the drapes, and then the furniture would get ruined because the sun shined on it. And things, and she would like ruin the house. And then at the end, they'd be like, "Okay, you're fired. Oh wait, let me try a bite of your pie. Oh my God, your pie's so good, you're hired again." That would be every single book. And they would just think of new ways to make. It was just making fun of colloquialisms and stuff. But it was always very funny. Mash is almost the same exact joke. Like he's super literal about everything. He sees a guy with a red evil eye. He's like, "Hey man, I think you got pink eye." And he's such a doofus, and even he knows he's kind of a doofus, and he's not smart, and he just kind of walks through life making random observations. That, you know, there's a bad guy who like gets hit with a rock and then grabs it and licks it. He's like, "That's dumb to lick a rock. I don't know why you do that. It's like what cringy teenagers would do." That kind of a literal pointing out anime cliches and stuff worked for me every time. His inability to remember if doors are push or pull, and so he just rips them off the hinges, and then I'll fix it, and he just like turns it sideways and bashes it against the door frame. I laughed every time. He got all the laughs out of me, so he's, to me, is the one thing that works, even though his power level, I think, again, was not the best choice for the comedy. Okay. So we meet Mash's dad, who we're not going to talk about because he's only in it for like 2 or 3 episodes, even though he gets like a cameo once in a while, is just sitting waiting for the plot to happen.
Actually, the on-screen being more important conversation was pretty funny.
That's what I was thinking of too. That got a laugh out of me.
Except I actually got frustrated by that.
Really?
They just suddenly break the fourth wall. Like, we're 12 episodes in and you broke the fourth wall. You either break the fourth wall or you keep it intact. You know, Spy Family never talks about, "Hey, am I even in this episode?" They might do it like in the teaser or something where the characters are clearly not in the show. But you can't. Fourth wall break is either something you do or you don't do. It's. So now all these characters realize they're in an anime.
I guess by this point, it seemed like the anime cared so little with taking its world seriously, and it was more about trying to be silly here and there, that I was okay with it.
And I'm not trying to complain about fourth wall break. I like fourth wall breaks, but I just the fact that it came 12 episodes in, and I was like, oh, so that's now this type of comedy. It's like going to a different genre of comedy to me.
Well, I think they kind of did this once before with them where he sent that letter. It was the 6.5 where they were doing the recap. And
oh yeah, I totally watched that.
Oh yeah, every moment.
I skipped most of it as well. But I wasn't sure if there was going to be anything in it that was not already seen, and so I kind of fast forwarded through it just in case. And at the end, that was one of the things where he was like, "Well, what? How could you end it there on such a cliffhanger?" And it literally was at a point where there's no way he stopped and wrote a letter to his grandpa. So I was like, okay, you guys are already breaking the fourth wall.
Okay. They didn't dub that episode, so I didn't watch it.
Probably, it honestly wasn't worth it.
All right. Yeah, so we see him working out. He goes home. His dad's like, hey, I'm going to go to town. You need to stay here. Don't go to town. And Mash's like, okay, I promise. And then I was like, sorry, Dad. I have to go for them sweet, sweet cream puffs. And he goes to town to buy cream puffs. And then we see a cop get called because there's a man walking around without a magic mark. It's Mash. Also, another cop, he bumps into him and starts getting harassed. He spills some cream puff on his shirt. The guy's like, you gotta clean my shirt. So he just rips the shirt off him. So he just strips it off. Then the detective shows up and he's like, I call him the detective, this the superior of this other guy, but he's like, hey, let's track this kid down because the dad grabbed him and brought him home. They trace him back to his home. They get in a big fight with him. He overpowers them by being muscular and strong. Mm. We see a flashback of Mash's dad finding him after his whole life had gone terribly wrong, but he finds this baby that no one wanted, and he adopts it and decides to raise it.
In a crashed spaceship.
Because he was never wanted.
Yeah.
Don't you bring Superman into this. Don't you dare.
No, I was thinking of Goku.
Okay, you can bring Goku into this. That's fine. Originally, Dragon Ball was a comedy before it was an action show.
Yeah, most of the time it had some comedy.
Oh, you are shooting shots towards Troy? Oh, man.
Come on, guys. I told you I was...
We have an anime to discuss. It's not Dragon Ball Z.
It's a long week. Jeremy's in full troll mode. Ash beats up the cops, and then the head cop's like, hey, plot of the anime. Go to school and become the divine visionary, and then everyone will see that a non-magic person is the top person ever. And then you'll get lots of money and prestige, which you'll give to me. But also, then non-magic people won't be illegal. And so I'm involved in this plot. Yeah. I can't believe that the episode 1 easy to beat villain to show you the good guy's powers ended up being a major driving part of the plot. I was like, okay, so this guy will run away, and then they'll decide to go with the plot. And this guy's like, no. I am the plot.
Yeah.
And he hung around for the rest of the show. Good for him.
Well, his job also kind of depends on it, because if the Bureau finds out what happened to him, he's going to be fired immediately.
Yep.
See, and I like the next episode when they're doing the test and him and the dad are like dressed in black tights with like little bushes in their hands. And everyone's like, why are those two weird guys just standing in the middle of the field? They're like, we're hiding.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's funny stuff.
Uh-huh. I agree with that.
So Mash joins the academy. And he gets this test administrator who's like a brand new teacher who used to be one of the top students. His name is Claude Luki, and he's all like, I am so awesome. I'm so superior. And Mash is like, well, why are you doing stupid stuff? You just showed up in a fireball. Did you get hurt from that? And he gets real mad at Mash, so he gives the test. You know, guys, when I tell the jokes, you usually laugh. You know,
it's
crickets.
Yeah, it just shows this anime isn't that funny.
The first test is a written test, but the words are moving on the page. So Mash hits the paper really hard, so they'll hold still.
Did he hit it or did he just threaten it?
No, he broke his pen on it.
Broke his.
Does it? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You asked.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's accuracy here. We're professionals.
I still don't know how he passed the written test. Like, how would he know the answers? He's never done magic in his life.
No, that wasn't the test. The test was not to write anything down. The test was to get the words on the page to
To
line
reveal
up
themselves?
correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you still had to write stuff down. I guess not.
All
right.
The way that he introduced it, it seemed like you had to. I could have sworn he said you did, but it didn't wind up being that way.
Right. So he scared the magic spell into cooperating.
Yep, you're right. Second test. It's a maze. You have to get through the maze.
Do you guys know the answer to the riddle?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I was
But
so
I
proud
thought
of myself.
I thought his answer was better. There's
I
no
don't
such
remember his
thing.
answer. It's just punch.
No, he said there's no such thing.
Oh, that's right.
All right. He teams up with this girl named Lemon, who is actually there to betray him, but becomes the love interest side female character. Just there for, I don't know what she's there for. Guys, what do you think of Lemon?
I kind of hated her the least because she had some pretty good jokes when it came to like just being unable to accept reality. And especially when she becomes infatuated with Mash, she's like, all right, well, I guess we have to get married. And he's like, I didn't say that. It's like, yeah, no, when we did the thing, you said you were going to propose to me. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, her oblivious single-mindedness and like the fact that she's living in her own world and gaslights him. That's actually pretty good. But otherwise, she's really just there to kind of act as, in some cases, the MacGuffin. I got to go get her in one of the missions. But otherwise, I don't think I saw her fight once.
No. There's another character that does the same thing, and I was kind of
Yeah.
frustrated with both. The other joke she has is whenever she walks into a room with multiple guy characters, she just suddenly goes,
Yes.
"You beast!" and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "We didn't do anything. We're just sitting here. You walked in."
I laughed at that too.
All right. Well, what is funny though?
Yeah, what is comedy, guys?
What is?
Just got to have the right jokes at the right time.
I just. She's not really a love interest because he's not interested in her. Another guy, they're trying to make this love triangle. She's not working for me. I guess I like.
You like
She's
mutual love interests.
No. I mean, she's so cliche, and this character's been done 1,000 times, and it's been done.
Everything in this anime is cliche. What are you talking about?
Part of the joke, right?
Can I finish my sentence?
No. Go ahead.
This character's been done 1,000 times, and it's been done better 1,000 times.
Mm.
She just isn't bringing anything new. It's just not even done well of the cliche.
You've just described the anime.
Yes, I know. All right. She does try to slow him down. They do counter the riddle of the Sphinx. He's like, hey, you gotta answer my riddle. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the day, 3 legs in the afternoon? Jeremy, hit us.
Human.
Time's not literal. Riddles are hard. Mash says there's no such thing and just punches the Sphinx. And because he had left her and he came back to save her. And then she's like, oh, now you came back to save me. You don't have time. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And he just walks through all the walls and then comes out. And then all the other students are like, wait, you're supposed to solve the maze, not just destroy the maze and walk out of it. And he's like, oh, sorry. And then the proctor gets all upset and he attacks Mash, who stops him somehow.
Breaks his wand.
Is this the one he breaks the wand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he breaks his wand, and then the headmaster shows up, and he's like, oh, Harry Potter, you are a unique child who I will put in danger many times. He actually tests Mash with he grabs his dad's soul, puts it in a doll, and then has this like spike coming down, and Mash just catches it in his hands, even though it stabs him, and then just like, no, I'll just hold this all day. Don't worry about it. And then he's like, oh, sorry, I almost killed your dad. You can totally come to our school.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, he does say, oh, I wouldn't have. It was just a test. But do you really know?
Mash meets his roommate and also learns this school runs on a coin system. You have to get coins.
Sounds familiar.
This anime wants so hard to have power levels that it creates 3 different ones at the exact same time. They're like, oh, look how many lines he has. Oh, look how many coins he has. Also, the spider will tell you your actual power level.
Yes.
Oh, he's a double gold versus a single silver. He has no chance. Maybe
And if
he
you're
lucked
in
into
this,
those.
if you're in this dormitory, you're probably more powerful than this dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
So many power levels. It had power levels on power levels.
Yep.
Power levelception.
Which magic. It just takes us back to the last anime I'll stop.
Yeah.
Ring up for it again.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the way they handled magic in this one either. This was just like everybody had their signature spell and couldn't do anything else. Just had variations on it.
My favorite is the guy at the end. He's attacking with the spikes, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm attacking with slightly harder spikes." And everyone's like, "Oh, he's going with slightly harder spikes." My God.
I mean, I get that's probably part of the joke, but it's just annoying.
That wasn't a joke scene. That was like an action scene. Like it was supposed to be
It's true.
intense.
That's true.
All right, Finn, his roommate. Your guys' thoughts on Finn?
Worst character ever.
Absolutely useless.
He was there obviously for some dialogue spots and also to push the story along a little bit. He could have been removed from the anime, and I think the anime would have been a better anime. And I don't think we would have lost any time. He literally just whines and is a crutch to get Mash his like first like into the school, and then after that, there's just I don't know why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
I have talked in the past about the importance of the jokester and the straight man. And One Punch Man has everyone be a straight man to One Punch Man's jokester. Everyone's like, he's so weird, I don't get it. But this anime has everyone being silly and everyone being a straight man at the same time. Finn is just as likely to be like, Mash is an idiot, as to be doing the idiot thing with Mash, to have another character saying he's an idiot, who in the next scene will do the idiot thing with those 2 guys, to have a 4th character calling them an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I got excited about at the end, when everyone's splitting off into mandatory anime battles at the end, is like, oh, I'll get to see what Finn does. He hasn't got to do anything this whole anime. I'm interested to see if he's interesting.
No.
And his only thing to do was to also get kidnapped with Lemon.
Yep.
So him and Lemon are filling the same role, which is nothing. There is no role. They just are there. Very frustrating character. I was hoping for more. You know, I'm always good for a Tails to the Sonic. You know, the plucky sidekick friend, but that was not this. It was just a guy who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have cream puffs together. Broom flying class. In broom flying class, Mash uses his muscles to make it appear as if he has magic when he's flying a broom. By stomping the ground to make the broom jump up, and then by throwing it and then jumping after it and catching it while jumping to look like he's flying the couple 100 meters he had to fly. But he won his race against a bully.
Yeah, it was at this moment that I was like, oh, it's this kind of anime.
This school is the worst, and I'm including Hogwarts in that. Because Hogwarts is a pretty bad school. You know, like, kids die a lot. at that school. This school has bullies everywhere, murdering each other, and the school's like, "Hey, Mash, you were slightly rude to another student today. Guess we have to discipline you." Meanwhile, like, this entire dorm is murdering kids all over campus.
Yep.
Doesn't make any
It's all
sense.
about who you know, right? Don't be rude to the guy who's got a connection with the vice principal.
The bully is like, "Hey, let's meet after school," and then Mash forgets. He doesn't go, which I laughed at. That's a good Amelia Bedelia style joke for me. That's like,
He's making his cream puffs.
yeah, he's making his cream puffs. Then he starts getting so the guy he beat in the race, and this bully beats up on that bully. This bully works for that bully. So this is Lloyd, and he's like, "Hey, Mash, I'll help you if you help me, and by help me I mean be my slave." And the Mash is like, okay, and they keep wrecking his books, and then we find out Finn's involved. But then Mash stands up for Finn, so Finn stands up for Mash, and then everyone gets all upset, and then it comes to the classic: Mash is going to beat up the bully. Which he then does pretty badly. Bashes his face into the ground and is like, "I think I might have killed him." Didn't mean to. And then this scene made me laugh very hard. This is my biggest laugh of the whole anime. Vice principal walks up and is like, "Oh, how could you do that? That kid's from a rich, esteemed class, and I know his family, and this is how it works. Class is everything, don't you know?" And then Mash starts walking up to beat him. He's like, "Wait, what are you gonna?" Like, all the students are like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, "What's one more body?" And it was like, "That's a serial killer talk." And then Mash, in the middle of a hallway, creates a giant dirt hole.
He like creates a crater through the concrete of the ground, so now there's access to dirt.
Right, but they're not on the ground floor, and this also castle isn't established to have many levels down. There's no dirt here, but yeah, he makes dirt. And then he starts burying the teacher, and the teacher's like, "I can expel you." And he's like, You can expel me at any time, but I can bury you. I can bury you at any time." Mash has to see the principal after this and gets a light scolding.
See, this was really weird for me because yes, it was funny, but at the same time, seeing that his approach is always things that would never work, like their borderline villain, it's jarring, and it's does not compute. This is the best way I can put it. Like, I see it and I'm just going, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. This is not a hero character. This is almost a power fantasy that goes into the loser of the argument wins by force. So I don't know. I really didn't like that aspect about him. The same thing happened when he broke the wand from the guy who was teaching.
Right.
There was still conversation to be had, and I don't know. He does that a lot, and I get that that's part of his character. That he's like, if I'm going to solve it, it's going to be through muscles because I don't have anything else. But that makes him a really unlikable character for me, more than I thought he'd be.
This is the peak of the anime for me. This scene, like, it's all downhill. I was laughing. I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm liking this guy, and then it started getting stale after this. This guy named Tom, who loves to use the analogy about bamboo, asked him to be on the duolo team, which is not the Quidditch team. Definitely not the exact same thing. Then he's like, I can't fly. And they're like, "No, don't worry about it. You're a great flyer." He's like, "No, I can't fly." And then he's out there on the duelo field, and everyone's flying around. The crowd starts booing him, and he's like, I can't fly. And they're like, "You go home." He's like, "I want to."
That was kind of cute. He did that a few times where he's like, "I want to go home."
Yeah,
I liked that.
Yeah, everyone's wondering, how's he going to win this game of cribbage? Oh, wait, no, that's Dulo or whatever.
Quidditch.
Quidditch?
Hey, you want to know how he wins? He jumps in the air, kicks his leg, and then throws a ball so hard that it boomerangs back to him, and he throws it again, and he scores 999 points.
Yeah, it was at this point I realized, oh, so there isn't going to be anything clever.
So it's straight up Looney Tunes, except for Looney Tunes actually is clever because they know how to use their Looney Tunes.
Right.
Yeah, he wins the game. He gets a silver coin for it.
A piece of a silver coin.
I guess a silver coin is a piece of a gold coin. It's weird how they've got this. They're like 5 wedges.
Yeah, it's 5 wedges and it turns into a gold coin when they're all united. And if you have 7, you can wish for the dragon.
Yes.
The next, after this, he is confronted by a top student. You're going to hear that a lot. Every character who walks up to him, I'm a top student. At one point, there's a character who is a divine visionary who says the line, he's like a divine visionary. Not, he's equal to me. He references it as if it's an outside thing, even though we've been told he is it. Okay, it bugs
School
me.
is full of top men.
Top
men.
Man, I want to watch a good movie right now.
Yeah.
All right, this is Lance, and he traps all of Mashle's friends in a magic bottle, and is like, "You have to fight me for silver coin, or I'll kill your friends." And so Mash does calisthenics, and Lance has gravity magic, but Mash has muscles.
This part upset me so much. Either he's stronger than the gravity magic, or he's not. But being under the influence of the gravity magic, but then being able to pull upwards with a root, no, don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's stronger than the magic, or he's not. This I can have it both ways. Garbage. It does not make for a funny joke.
Yeah. If he can't lift his own body, how could he rip a root out of the earth?
Have you never powerlifted?
What? Yes, I've power. Yes, actually,
Clearly, we've all cleaned and snatched, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can. This is really hard to do, but if you just do a quick jerk motion and you catch yourself under it, you can lift it up. That's what
He was on his stomach.
It was under him.
Who remembers that much detail about this anime? How dare you?
No, you don't understand. My brain, when I watch video, it never leaves.
Let's talk about Lane.
Why do you think I keep coming up with Kisnifer? It's stuck in here. I can replay scenes in my head. It's not fun sometimes.
But sometimes it is, apparently.
That's true.
Guys, we need to talk. We need to talk about the most talented member of NSYNC, Lance. What did you think of him?
He had a couple decent jokes, but like,
you point them out when they show up. You just go
Yeah.
ahead and call them out when you think of them.
well, they leaned on the sister thing a little too hard, which was, had its own comedic. Every time he got called a lolicon, he was like, sister con. But,
Like that made it better.
Right.
But they even said that too. Like Mash was like, like that makes it better.
No, but that is the joke, right?
Right.
He's trying to distinguish between two terrible things, and I think
Yes. Well, and what was really weird is that when we did get a glimpse at his backstory, it wasn't a sister con weird thing. It was more like a really healthy relationship where he wanted to protect his sister and take care of her, right? But then it like morphed into this weird thing in the present, which.
But he never has a line like, I can't wait till you grow up so I can marry you kind of line. He's just obsessed with her because she thinks she's the best. Well,
I mean, when they shows him her picture and he gets a massive bloody nose and slams into the wall backwards, it's pretty clear what they're saying, but
true.
It doesn't match his history.
I'd be on board with you, Jason, if he wasn't himself calling himself a sister con. If everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're a
Right.
sister con," and he was like, "No, I just really respect my sister." No, he's like, I got a crush on my sister. That's my character trait, and my hair is blue.
Yeah. And I'm a double liner. Yeah.
And I'm a double liner.
First year double liner.
Yeah.
So you know I'm top of the class. Like,
Yep.
Gravity magic is boring.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Most of the magic in this is pretty boring.
Yes, that's true. I don't even like use it in like Final Fantasy.
In Elden Ring, I thought it was done really well.
You gonna play the DLC?
Probably. I need to finish the game because I never did. So
What about our audience is saying right now? You all didn't finish the game.
Yeah.
We were watching that.
I was way ahead of you guys. I was at like the turning point in the game. If you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. So you guys didn't make it as far as me.
No.
I made it farther than you think I did.
Did you beat Sekiro?
It's a different game.
Again, my brain's all over the place. Let's just stay on track here.
I don't know if I want to do that either. I didn't like Lance.
I was, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If it's not MASH, I was like, I don't like any of these characters. They were so cliche that I knew what they were before they showed up. Like I'm like, oh, this is gonna be his powerful close friend who's also like a rival relationship with him. Oh, and here comes the red hair guy. He's gonna be like the sassy, angry guy who's always getting hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like before they spoke their lines, I knew that's how.
I always got a soft spot for the sassy guy, so he was funny, but the blue-haired guy was really kind of boring.
The Lance throws the bottle off of a cliff, and Mash runs and dives and catches it. But then he's like, "Hey, but the bottle is empty. You still have my real friends in your cloak." And he runs and he grabs it, and Lance calls it a tie and gives him the coin. And now he's their best friends. Not really. I'm using you, best friend.
Yeah.
We learned that the schools has dorms. There's Adler, which our main characters are in, stands for courage. It's Gryffindor. Orca, wisdom. It's Ravenclaw.
That's it.
And then Lang, which is clearly
watch.
Slytherin, and there's no Hufflepuff.
I didn't watch or read any Harry Potter, so.
You've never seen a single Harry Potter?
No.
I saw one, but it's not memorable.
There's like 7 of them.
Yeah.
Just because they're out there doesn't mean I have to watch them.
No.
Well, it's a burden though for Jason because if he watches it, it's in there forever.
You're very careful what you let in.
Yeah.
I'm not a Harry Potter like super fan or anything like that. The only thing I like about the movies is that it starts as a little kid movie, and then by the end, it's like a full-on drag-out war superhero movie. The movies age with the audience, as when he's like a little kid in school.
And the actors.
They're like, oh yeah. But by the time they're seniors, they're like cutting the heads off of monsters and like battling to the death. Characters are dying, but in the first one, there's like a troll. They stick a wand up a nose and boogers and stuff, and it's just kind of cool that they all fit together.
I'd probably like the older ones then, the ones when they're grown up. I saw one of the first ones, and
I like
their kids.
I like the fourth one best. Everyone likes the third one best with the werewolves. I like the fourth one with the Goblet of Fire. It's the first character death in the series. It's when things get dark from that moment on.
Okay. My favorite is when someone dies and then it gets dark.
Hey!
That fits. Due to the podcast,
Troy has joined us.
Also, the only thing that guy said that had been in was Twilight. It's actual Edward. Is the guy who dies. Spoilers for old movie, but
Does he sparkle?
Not in that, but
Okay.
he does die straight up. Also in Harry Potter, you can just kill with a single spell, and it just seems like you're not allowed to. But I mean, if you're a bad guy, why are you not just casting that every time?
Yeah.
It just seems like the automatic spell to use. I'm already a bad guy. What do I care? I don't want to talk about Mashle, guys. I'm sorry. All right, then they go out to the woods for class, and they have to defeat scorpions. And there's this guy, this bully, who's like the top of his class. His name is
Wait.
Silva.
Has this happened yet?
And he's like, "Hey, Mash, I don't like you. I'm gonna get your coins. Taunt, taunt, taunt." And then he leaves. There's also this other character. He's
Is
in
he
the
top of his class?
No,
In the hallway, it kind of seems like it.
his headband is cool though. This is Dot. This is the other guy from the OP. If you hadn't seen it, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's clearly another main character."
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like Silva. I'm like, you're not in the OP, so I'm not bothering to care about your character.
Yep.
Yeah. Dot though, he walks in. He's like, his literal personality is, "I am main character. I am main character. I have red spiky hair and a headband. I should be main character. That guy has a bland haircut. He is a side character." I'm quoting him word for word right now, just so you know, if you haven't seen the anime. That's not paraphrasing. That is the actual lines. Yeah, that's Dot. You guys' thought on Dot?
He wasn't quite that crazy in the sub. He didn't have lines quite like that. He did believe himself to be the main character, but yeah, he didn't like talk about his spiky hair and stuff. I
No,
think
I
it
guess
might
he
have been
didn't.
funnier.
You're right. But he was
Yeah.
very much, "I am main character, you are a side character."
Yeah.
I found him predictably irritating, especially when it came around girls. It's just, I hate that overreaction. I turn into a dumb animal every time I come across something I think is slightly pretty. It's nauseating. I didn't like this character.
I love that reaction when they turn into a dumb animal around anything they see as slightly pretty. It's one of the funniest things to me. So I actually really enjoyed a lot of this character's behavior. There was one part where he like showed up, and for several scenes he just had a crater where his face was.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand what happened there because I never saw the event that gave him that. But
That did happen, yeah.
yeah, it was very weird. But overall, I think I liked him mainly because he had more spunk and energy, and there was the shock factor. His jokes were always like in your face, yell, abrupt, almost like trying to force a sort of slapstick in. And I like slapstick, so that was the closest that they came to that in this anime.
His jokes didn't work for me. There was a couple scenes where like he was clearly like saying out punchlines, and I'm like, this isn't working for me. Delivery's not landing. The only thing I liked about him is in an anime of power levels everywhere, he's a character they literally said his emotions make him stronger.
Oh God,
And
yes.
I laughed at Jeremy from far away.
Yeah.
And that's the only
Nice.
Yeah.
moment of
Yeah.
joy I had.
And I did mention I hated that in this.
Mhm.
Like just the fact that each one of them, except for the two stupid characters that have absolutely no use whatsoever, like just that he had this weird cross thing that did that. That was very annoying.
So Lance takes Mash. He's like, "Hey, stay with me. We'll team up because I think that Silver guy's gonna try to go after you." But Mash has already wandered off, and by the time he finishes his sentence, and he runs into both Silva. No, he runs into Dot, and then they run across a girl, and the girl's being harassed by a guy. So Dot uses his explosion magic.
He's
But not-
basically Bakugo, a wannabe Bakugo. He's even got explosion magic like Bakugo, grenade man.
Yeah, but He's not a bully. In an anime, 90% bullies. He's like the one who's not. He's actually really nice. Like he comes into your house and he brings you tea because it'd be rude not to. And everyone's like, "Wait, you have manners?"
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is he's presented as a bully when we're first introduced to him, and sometimes he tries to pretend to still be that bully, but he's not. It doesn't last for very long.
Anyway, he's infatuated with this girl, hitting on her, but then we find out she's using charm magic to entrap him. Then she starts using it on Mash, but it's ineffective because he doesn't care.
She's not a cream puff.
Because muscles.
Yes.
But then Silva shows up and she's like, "Oh, save me from Silva!" And so Silva's like, "Okay, I'm gonna hit you 5 times, and if you survive, you get my coin, and if you don't, I get your coin." And he's like, "Actually, I meant it for both of you, and since Mash doesn't want to play, I'm gonna hit you 10 times." And then his whole thing is he shoots steel out of the ground.
Does he like stone?
Yeah, I thought it was stone.
It's insane. There's another bad guy who does almost the same thing with just slightly stronger stone. So it's the exact same spell.
Yeah.
Dot tanks it, all 10 hits, but finally falls down. And then Mash gets upset because they're making fun of him. Also, the girl was helping Silva. And so Mash...
Oh, that was such a shocker.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they also told us she was evil. Mash beats up Silva. He's like, "I'm going to hit you 10 times. And after only hitting him once, the guy's like, "I'm going to die if he hits me." And then he power bombs the girl.
Okay, that was funny.
Mash believes in gender equality.
Yes.
Doesn't care.
This joke actually got me pretty good because she thinks she's scot-free and he gets behind her and like gives her what she's like, is he giving me a hug? And like, no, it is suplex time.
Yes.
This joke I thought was funny. A giant scorpion, the biggest of the scorpions, shows up. And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty standard." And then Mash just slaps it away and says, "Not right now." And it goes flying across the forest. And then they go back to beating up this guy. Which gives Mash a star, which is like a bunch of silver coins. 2, 3?
3, I think.
Yep. And then all his coins make a gold one. He gets his gold one here. And then he gets his new robe, and he's warned about the Magia Lupus, the top 7 students of Lang, who are targeting mostly Adler students to steal their coins, even though Adler students don't seem to have hardly any coins at all to steal, so that I would go after the other class that had 1 coins. Whatever.
Both had 1.
Terrible plan. Yeah. Let's steal from them. They don't have any. Poop.
Go get them anyways.
But guys, Mash wanders into the boss's room, and who's a guy who likes puppets. He has puppet magic.
And he goes, "Why are you talking to that doll? Or do you know you're talking to a doll?"
Which he calls his mother. And he also turns Silva into a puppet. And then the puppets try to take Mash's coin. And he breaks them. And then a stronger puppet does. And then Mash picks up Silva and walks out with him, because that was the other puppet. He beat it up and then turned back into Silva. And he leaves. And then the bad guy's like, "I got his gold coin. Wait, this is a button from one of the puppets." Because Mash was so fast that he tore a button off with his mouth and shot it out and hit the coin and made it jump back into him. And he sucked it up with his super breath.
Yeah. No, his normal human breath. Because that's how muscles work.
Yeah, muscles. So this is one of the things that was kind of weird. I didn't like it when it started happening really consistently. Later with this character, there's a pink ponytail girl or pigtail girl, and she likes to narrate what she really saw about what happened. And she likes to be there to basically
explain Mash actions.
Yes. And even just provide the reactions that the audience is supposed to be giving so that you know how you're supposed to be reacting to the scenes and what you're supposed to be wondering and how you're supposed to be coming to different conclusions. And it is really annoying because I can tell that's what her purpose is in those moments, especially in the last, like, episode 11's fight. She keeps having all of these reactions where she's just describing the scene and, oh man, I should run. Oh no, I should do this. Or, oh, did that really happen? I think that's a really strong sign of, like, you don't know how to present what you're trying to show it, don't tell it. I don't know. I just probably trying to say this with more words than it deserves, but it just really irked me.
It's kind of an irony there.
Yeah, exactly.
So what? I agree everything you said about the character Love, who's the main character girl. She does have one great scene though that I always love when this is done, is when a villain explicitly is aware that his team is losing and instantly switches. And she's like, "Go Adler, because I don't want to die." And that joke always works for me. That's just funny. Yeah, Silva is in the infirmary. And stuff happens. The tea. Yeah, the tea thing happens that we talked about. Mash has to clean the owl house as punishment for, I don't know, for murder. I don't know at this point what he was even being punished for. But he has to clean the owl house. And Lance is like, I'm here to protect you. And then they get attacked by two of these Magia, the sixth Fang and the seventh Fang.
It's what you always get in anime is they send the weakest ones and then they'll send the next strongest and then the next strongest.
What did you guys think about the seventh Fang joke of, like, he always says something profound but he's just saying, like, very obvious things, which is a very classic anime trope that they're clearly making fun of.
I normally like those kind of jokes, but this one fell flat for me. I didn't like the way it was delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other guy uses his magic to throw Mash into a puddle, which is actually in, like, an ocean underneath. It's like a magic portal to water. And Mash can't swim, so he's just sitting there going blah 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 blah. Actual dialogue.
Mm.
And then Lance has the serious fight with the other guy who uses shuriken magic, which is I can throw this giant metal shuriken
and, like,
my
grow
magic.
Them.
Yeah, and control it and grow. Yeah, and Lance's
Split
whole
it.
thing is like, he's like, oh, I could beat you, but the owls are in the way. Then eventually he gets the owls to go eat food, and then he can do gravity, and he wins. Then we go to Mash's fight, where the guy has turned himself into a shark, and Mash learns how to swim, and then swims faster than the shark and beats up the shark. And then he evolves into Super Shark, and it doesn't matter. Mash just swims into him and kills him.
Yep. I did like how after this, they were kind of joking about how, wow, if this is how strong these guys are, this isn't really going to be a problem, is it?
Right? But the second Fang shows up, and he's like, I'm just here to collect these guys. He has one of those magic bottles that sucks up people, apparently. And he's able to move so fast that he outmoves. He's faster than Mash. But then he's like, wow, Mash almost got me. And then he leaves. And that'll definitely be a thing later. And he wears a mask, so he's mysterious.
Dun, dun, dun.
I thought he was hiding that he didn't have a line, and he kind of gave that impression for quite a while. He's like, oh, you're just like me.
Because he's like, yeah, you're like me.
Uh-huh.
He also, the next episode starts with him literally murdering a student.
Yeah.
One of the top student from Orca, and he's just like takes a sword and stabs him a bunch, and then later this guy's gonna become a good guy. And there's not any repercussions for murdering this innocent child.
Who looked like an old man, to be fair.
Sure. Okay, college student.
Held back many years.
I was going for the joke, but yeah, you can ruin it. It's fine.
Stick to the bit, Jeremy. Come on.
Yeah. No.
Tom is in the infirmary because people are sucking magic out of people. And then they see Lemon walking in the hallway at night when they're investigating. All of the four guys go, and they see her turn into a puppet. And then they find a secret door in the floor, and they go inside, and there's a fighting arena and a bad guy who's like, I'm not one of the Fangs. The Fangs are later. You're gonna fight the Fangs later. I'm first guy in the fighting tournament of going downstairs.
That we've never seen before.
Gotta get past me. I'm a top student though.
Yes.
Top student in my class.
Oh
And
no.
Dot has to fight him. This guy has vine magic, and then Dot puts a bunch of bombs on the ground around him. He's like, I'm not gonna step on your dumb bombs, man. I can see them, and I don't need to move from my magic. And he's slamming Dot around. And then Dot's like, I didn't use proximity mines. I used time mines. That's a GoldenEye reference, sucker. And then they blow up in the guy's face. And even though he's defeated, he's still in a cool pose because he's a cool guy, but not a Fang. I'm trying really hard to make the recap fun. I don't know what to do anymore, guys.
Yeah.
That's good.
Should I make animal noises?
No, please.
How many times can I say meow in the recap?
That was enough.
Okay, yeah, they beat this guy. And
Drink
then
this whole bottle of syrup.
then the ground turns into quicksand and they all sink into different fighting arenas.
Woo!
And Mash is with that mask guy whose name is Abyss. His parents hate him. There's no good reason to give your child the name Abyss.
I wonder if it's a name that he got after he joined Dollman.
And this is what we find out because it's actually one of the most frustrating things I think I've seen in anime for a while. Every bad guy, right after they get beat or right before they're about to get beat, they get their own mini flashback. And it's like, I kind of don't care. Why are you showing me this? And all of them have had tragic trauma in their past, which led them to this life of evil. And it's like, we've all gone through problems. Just buck up and get over it. Like, this is rough stuff. Like,
Look,
you're not worth anything to me because I'm your dad and I'm pushing you to be worth something, even though you just got into the most prestigious school in the world. You're nothing. It's like, okay, these are not jokes anymore. This is just cliche garbage.
That's the thing. You can do flashbacks. Shonen's, My Hero Academia does it well. It does this with villains. But man, this is a parody. This is a spoof. Why are you doing these backstories seriously? It should be like, my mom burnt the cookies once, and so I became a psychopath evil guy. Like, let's make fun of the trope.
Yeah.
We're a comedy show. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Every one of them's like, my dad rejected me or my parents were murdered. And it's like, okay.
It's too serious.
Yeah. Trying to be a serious shonen anime battle, while also being this parody of Harry Potter, it's not working. Go full parody. Let's be ridiculous. Let's, I have a drinking problem. Throw it in your face. Whatever.
My mom burnt the popcorn one time with her magic, and it inspired me to murder people.
Right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so the first up is Lance has to fight one of the guys. And that guy, he has mud. No, he's a mud guy. He's got mud magic.
Guy first. That's right.
So every time he gets thrown around, he just turns the ground into mud, so he's not hurt. And then Lance still kicks his butt, so he makes a giant mud monster. And then Lance is like, well, I have gravity poles that will slam, and then a sword comes down. I don't know how a sword is part of gravity magic. Sure. I guess it's gravity plus sword magic.
Yep.
One guy had a butter knife magic. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah. That was the cannibal.
The cannibal has threw a giant butter knife.
The only thing that this particular fight was meant to show us is that two liners can cast a second form spell.
Which barely even comes into play. Like, it's just so that there can be another level of spell that doesn't work against Mosh. That's really it.
And then we get Mash's fight against Abyss. And Abyss's whole thing is I can turn off magic with my eye. And Mash, even when he finds this out, even apologizes like, "Oh, well then I'm like the worst opponent for you." He's like, "Ah, it's all right." But he can do super speed if he steps on arrows he makes, and then he cuts up Mash a bunch of times.
Sort of.
Jason has talked about it. And then Mash catches his sword in his stomach.
And the sword goes
literally
through his back.
Yeah, you see it come out the other side.
Yeah. Some catch.
And he uses that to hit him. And then the guy goes to his second level. Well, he breaks his mask, yeah. And he makes like a dome, what makes him even faster. Mash just makes a trench so that even though Mash is slow, he can't miss. And then he just beats the crap out of this guy. And then the guy tells his sad backstory. Mash is like, "Oh, that's cool. We'll have cream puffs together. I'm gonna keep going. Bye-bye."
I like when there's jokes early on and they make callbacks to those jokes throughout the rest of the anime. Bringing jokes back up. It's pretty good. This one, the cream puff joke that is throughout the entire anime, I don't know. It just fell flat after a while. Like it wasn't. Yeah.
See, if you had read
Chocolate,
Amelia Bedelia, you would know that she always makes lemon meringue pie at the end of every book. Every single book, she makes a lemon meringue pie. And it's the guy's favorite pie. So. I also like that he carries them in his pockets, and everyone's like, "That's really gross. You really need to not carry cream puffs in your pocket." All right. Next up, Dot and Finn has to face Love and Milo, but Finn doesn't fight ever, and Milo just leaves. So, and then Love is like, "I'm a cute girl, aren't I cute?" And Dot's like, "You are cute, but I'm in love with someone." And then she gets mad at him, hits him with a super tornado that the only way to get out is if you die. Except for he removes his headband and reveals that he's a. I wrote it down.
Checks notes.
Yes.
Tornado.
I'm an emotional guy.
Nope, I just wrote emotional magic booster. Oh, it's a warding cross. Warding cross. I did write it down. It's a warding cross.
Yeah, it's something to do with like demons, I guess. But
yeah, they could be demon fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So he breaks the tornado, and then he kicks her butt. And then Milo comes back, and the whole thing is like Milo has a spell that turns people to stone, but he needs 30 minutes to charge it up. And can you get past Love in time? So Milo comes back, and he starts beating up Dot, and then random new character walks in. He's a divine visionary. He's also Finn's older brother. He's been there because some bad guys escaped out of prison, and they've come to the school.
Alcabaz?
Yeah.
You know a lot of references for guys never seen a single movie or book.
It's in one of the titles.
Azkaban, by the way, but he was close.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. I was just, anyways.
All right. Rain then beats up this child. And this guy literally does look like a child, so don't you dare correct me, Jeremy.
Yeah, you're right.
He kicks this guy on the ground over and over again.
Yeah, he does. Gratuitously.
But then, maybe I was writing a note. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, but it sure felt to me like it was just a random cut. And then suddenly Rain, this character Rain, is in the hallway with Mash. Like, it didn't show him like leave this situation or move off. He's like interrogating. He's like, I'm going to interrogate this guy. And then it shows him in a hallway with Mash and like, hey, I'm going to interrogate you. And I was like, okay, did
Pretty sure
time?
that's what happened.
I guess time passed.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember there being anything between, but I did watch that like a week ago, so I could be forgetting.
Fair enough. He does. He casts spells at Mash to test his power level with his spider. Her eyes become the numbers of your power level, and even though Mash is like making chairs out of the swords or bunting them with another sword, the power level keeps coming up as 0. But then he's like, "Oh, you're the guy the headmaster told me is special, so I'm gonna let you go. Sorry about that. Here's a handkerchief to cure yourself, and carry on." And he does. And then Mash breaks down Abel's door. Mash and Abel fight. Puppets. I break your puppets. I've turned you into a puppet. Actually, I've turned Finn into a puppet. I'm not going to have you be a puppet right now. I'm going to have Finn be a puppet. I feel bad for turning you into a puppet. That's not fair. Oh, you defeated Finn. Okay, I'm going to turn you back into a puppet. Okay, that didn't work. Now I'm going to have a super puppet that turns you into a puppet no matter what. That didn't work. I'm going to try it again. Mash smashes that into pieces and then pile drives him.
Yep.
That was the fight.
Good summary. And the whole time, the pink-haired girl is outside the door telling you how to react.
I love a good bad guy with a good motivation. This is Abel. He is not that. He just, I believe that people are worthless and need to be killed, and the strong and the weak, and blah, 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 blah. Even Mash is like, man, you talk so much. And I was thinking that already. And it isn't funny. It was just so cliche and bland.
Yep.
And then Mash, his mom got murdered. So Mash is like, hey, I didn't know that about your mom, so I guess we can be friends now. It's all good.
Yeah, even though you've kidnapped all these people,
give me back,
turned them into puppets so you could drain their mana. And
give me back my friends, and we can be friends later. And the guy's like, all right. He does.
I guess you won.
And then there's a scene of Mash, Finn, and Lemon going, yay, we won, yay.
For a long time.
And Abel's like, you guys are dumb.
Yeah.
And then Dot shows up, and he joins in. Yay, we won. Yay.
Yep.
With a mashed face for some reason.
Yep, with the crater face.
Yes, exactly.
And they go so long that Mash is like, I have to take a pee break. Rain runs into what looks like Lance, and then turns out to be one of the villains that escaped from prison. And he's there to kill Abel because they were using Abel and they don't want to use him anymore because he was supposed to be looking for someone, and that didn't work out. Rain's like, I'm going to stop you. But then that cannibal guy with the giant butter knife, twice as big as a human, shows up. And this bad guy, whose name, the name they gave this man is Cell War.
Yeah.
Can we do this? We're right here at the end. All right. So Cell War goes to kill Abel. And then Mash rocks in with a bunch of cream puffs he made while he was gone. But then a little fly lands on his nose, so he sneezes them all onto Cell's. Oh no. His name is Cell. I didn't even think about that. Cell's thorn crown?
Yeah, thorn crown.
Thorn crown. Yeah. And then he's like, can I have those back? And everyone's like, you sneezed on them. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to stab Abel, but Abyss jumps in the way because Abel's the only friend he ever had. He used him.
Even though Abyss hasn't been anywhere. So it's like, I guess could have used acceleration, but like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why I'm nitpicking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It seems insane to me to question how when there's no good answer to the question why.
Right.
All right. We also find out Mash threw a little pebble that also helped him not get killed. So, and then
Hands in his handkerchief.
Cell's like, hey, he's gonna die in 30 minutes. Can you get past me in that time? And I'm like, we just did that 2 episodes ago. We really couldn't think of a different time amount? Like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, something different. Anyway, and then again, his spell is exactly the same as Silva's spell, but with like black rocks instead of silver rocks. And then Dot's like, I should help, but I don't want to help. And obviously these other characters are worthless, so someone's got to protect them. So I'll just stand here and also be worthless so that they don't have an excuse for getting hurt, I guess is the reason. One thing I wanted to mention. I was down with the idea that Lance was a villain the whole time in disguise.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a cool twist.
Huh.
And then like I was mimicking Lance.
And when did that start?
Just then walking through the hall.
Yeah.
Lance was never here. Or Lance was here the whole time. So we don't even see Lance, but he fought his gravity battle against the mud guy. That was real. And
since then he's just not in the story.
Yeah.
This guy is.
He's busy. Maybe Cell found him and knocked him out.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something. Super puppet spell. And Mash hides in the mouth and then punches the guy in the face. And then the guy's like, oh yeah, I have a magic mirror that any spell you use will bounce back at you twice as hard. And everyone's like, oh no, that spell, watch out, Mash. And then Mash just kicks it and breaks it. Everyone's like, Mash doesn't have magic. Because if he did, then... Anyway, and then the bad guy's like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to leave. I'm done. So he leaves.
Well, he goes, I think I found who I was looking for.
Yeah, do we care?
I mean, it's part of the story.
Yeah.
I know, but it leads into the next season.
He got like a
people
back of his hand.
Honestly, if you made it this far, thank you so much. You're one of the many, few fans that we have that are this dedicated. And if this anime appeals to you from our description, this is an important topic. This
is a bad anime
season,
and this is a bad episode. Listen to a different episode before you get that 5-star. Go listen to our free run stuff. It was like some great discussion about story and themes.
This is a missed opportunity, guys. We should have been drinking.
Yeah, it's almost bad enough for another drinking episode.
It wasn't. I wasn't like angry or hating the anime. I was laughing at a lot of parts, Mash's jokes, and then everything else was just super cliche, and I've seen it 100 times, and I was ready to get on to something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad guy leaves, and then they're like, "Oh, Mash, you don't have magic. What are we gonna do? We have to cover for him. We have to be careful not to let anyone find out that he has no magic." Hi, I'm random student who was a puppet 5 seconds ago, and I just woke up and heard that someone has no magic, and I am mad. So I'm gonna
report.
And then Mash is like, "Oh well, I got busted."
He's just gonna bury him.
To be fair, I'm slightly curious what they do with this. Do they accept that Mash has no magic and like let the headmaster keep him, and now he has that extra, prejudice against him for the rest of the story, or are they going to 5 seconds like story hand wave, oh, memory spell, and just let it go back to zero with only the friends knowing?
Yeah, I was curious about the same thing, but not curious enough to watch the second season.
Exactly. I'm hoping there's long-lasting repercussions. I'm 50-50 on if there will be.
Yeah.
Then we get a last scene with Cell talking to his dad. And he's like, I was perfect, Dad. Perfect Cell.
He was perfect Cell.
He's like, hey, I found the guy. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, bring him here. Like, oh, probably should have done that.
And I'm not sure why we needed this in an after credits.
Well, probably to entice you to watch season 2.
The last ditch effort.
All right, that's the end of Mashle. I'd like to apologize on behalf of Baka for everything you just listened to. It was a rough week for me. Jeremy's had a lot of extra work.
Yep.
Jason's here.
You
We tried our best. All right, let's go to our final reviews. Jeremy, this is your pick.
And I regret it. I mean, it wasn't, I don't hate it, but I did find myself when I sat down to start watching it, I kept watching and kept watching. I got through 10 episodes in one sitting, and I've been wondering why, because I wasn't enjoying them, but I still couldn't stop. And I finally figured out why. It was because I had hope. There was something there that I could sense had a thread attached to like One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, and other anime. And I was just really hoping that it would eventually, like, is this going to be the episode where it gets better? And it wasn't, sadly. So I got to give this one a 2. And yeah, it really makes me want to go watch One Punch Man, though.
Season 3 coming.
I'm looking forward to it.
Some of the jokes landed. The animation was okay until they got into the actual fight scenes, and then if you were paying attention, there was a lot of recycled scenes, like a lot. And when I say recycled, like not that they did the same move, like it was literally frame for frame. They just cut and pasted, especially at the end. It wasn't, like Jeremy said, I didn't hate the time while watching it. So, but it, for a lot of reasons we just mentioned, the story's not great and the comedy didn't land all the time. I can't quite bring myself to give it to a 2 because I don't have any animus towards the anime. So I can go with a 3. It's very middle of the road. Probably wouldn't recommend.
Oh, I'm somewhere between a 2 and a 3. You know, around episode 4 or 5, after it started getting a little stale, I had this thought, like, I'd love to watch, like, little shorts of just clips of the jokes. Like, I would dig the scene of Mash breaks a door, and then he's trying to put it back on sideways. I'll fix it. Stuff like that. Mash's reactions, they made me laugh. They were good. Everything else was either super cliche, been done 100 times, and not trying to spoof it or twist it or anything, or jokes that weren't landing with me. So I'm gonna go with 2. Like I said, if someone's like, hey, here's this really funny joke from the season 2 in a short 30-second video, I'd watch that happily. But if you're like, hey, let's watch 12 more episodes, I'm like, hey, we don't need to.
Yeah.
You know, Jeremy messages, hey, should we not watch season 2? And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to take away his pick, but I was like, oh, that's a really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 for me.
Do it.
Speaking of, our next anime is Delicious in Dungeon Meshi. It's pretty popular at this point. Been going for the past 2 seasons, just finished up from when we're recording this. And we're back into another fantasy story with world building. Let's see how this one lands with everyone. It'll be interesting.
Season 1?
Yeah, first 12. Well, I don't know if it's seasons or not. Just the first 12 episodes, please.
Okay.
I don't know how Netflix has decided to divide it up, which is where it mainly is being shown. All right. Let's tell you about where you can contact us. If you want to reach out, you can hit us up on our Twitter at Baka Podcast, or come to our website where Jeremy leaves really cool descriptions of the anime we watch. And there's a contact us button.
Yeah, that one's still up there. Your favorite.
Jason, you want to run the website?
No. If I knew how.
Right? He has all the power.
Right.
I have the power, ultimate power.
Same power I have with editing.
All
right. Yeah. So, our website, that's what we prefer. Everything else is dying. Our website's going strong. Contact us button on our website, theanimebakaclub.com again. But wherever you found this podcast, there's usually a way to leave a comment, and that usually comes back to us. So we're happy to discuss your thoughts. Let us know what you thought was funny about Mashle, or if you really think season 2 should be brought back into our view. Let us know. Probably won't convince us, but you can try.
Hey, if we do that community pick, you could
don't
add
give
it
him,
to the list.
don't give him
if you
ideas.
Really want it?
Don't. Why are you doing that? Don't help him out.
Just stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
Just
All
gotta
right.
be honest.
Let's say goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
Sayonara.